What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best. It's super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What's good, everybody? Sixth element of hip hop. I'm your host, Reno Noir, and we got our co-host Stu Dog in the building and Sever the Bard in the house. What's happening, y'all? Stu, you are on mute, sir. I cannot unmute you. What up, guys? How y'all doing?
Oh, yeah.
Salute.
Nah, it went on mute. When Sever jumped in, it went on mute, and I couldn't get it to come off. I was like, "What the hell?" Sever came in with a he came with a Trojan or something. I don't know.
With an EMP and shit.
Yeah, something, bro. He came with something, bro. He popped it all with. He said, "Fuck it."
Peace. Herbert in the building. What's good, homie? Salute, Norrin Rad, Corey Adger. Sixth Elementals in the house. What up?
Salute Corey. Salute Herbert Carpenter. Whoever else is in the building.
Yes, sir. And we got a cool show today, man. We got to talk about this new Willow series on Disney Plus. And it's Star Wars Wednesday, so we want to definitely, talk about some Star Wars things and some Andor and some more news. Slade's in the building. Look, everybody's here. Herbert, Norrin, Corey, Slade. Everybody's chilling. All right, y'all. So let me get this thing popping. We got and before we do, we got to talk a little bit of hip hop too, because I love it, man. I love it. Nas and 21 Savage settle their little mini beef, little score. Should I say 21 Savage bowed down and paid homage to the god and let everybody know that, that was some publicity shit, man. Because the post Nas 21 Savage settle the score new single is called One Mic, One Gun. Stream first appeared on Consequence. But yeah, Nas and 21 released a new single joint, One Mic, One Gun, to put aside any traces of beef after 21's publicly questioned his elder's relevancy 2 weeks ago. Made a fool of himself. But with a dope beat by Hit Boy, the song sounds to me like an extension of Nas and Hit Boy's recently released King's Disease trilogy. I think it fits right in with that style, so it could have even been on one of those albums. It sounds like, and the title fittingly references Nas's 2001 Stillmatic staple One Mic, which was written in the heat of his infamous feud with Jay-Z. But the tone reflects his enlightened perspective over 2 decades later. And then 21 immensely pays homage by shouting out the project in his initial verse, and confronts his own comments with the line, when you turn legend, no such thing as relevance. The Queen rapper does his part, to remind everyone of his legacy, saying, in the hook, I opened a lane for my era. I'm goated. They gave me the crown, you know what I'm saying, while addressing, more pressing concerns like suffering in a home invasion in November, and as well as, the fallout between 21 Savage and Kodak Black after the former's controversial comments, telling them to, be big for the South. But yeah, the brief standoff between 21 and Nas on November 13th, when 21 Savage hopped on a Clubhouse forum titled "Is Nas the Greatest Rapper or What?" and told guests he's not relevant. He just has a loyal ass fan base. He just has loyal fans. It still makes good music.
After this song release, I feel like that was all cap. And to be honest,
some people think that, but he quickly clarified the next day on Twitter, saying that I would never disrespect Nas or any legend who paved the way for me by, he said, y'all be trying to take stuff and run with it. And Nas did not engage with the slight. That was not, on his level. But did post a message the day before the singles released on Instagram saying, the only way we moving is with love, respect, and unity, foundational principles of hip hop. Excited to collaborate with my young brother, and I hope more artists use turbulent moments and turn them into a time to make new art. That's what it's about. End quote. And then 21 Savage also recently drew the ire of Condé Nast after he and Drake used the fake Vogue magazine cover to promote their collaborative album Her Loss. And he's doing silly shit. But I think what we should take from this is I think we should embrace this. I really do. Stu, as being an elder statesman in hip hop, and us being, the Gen X, I feel like we should embrace this situation here, because this is 21 Savage. This is one of the new guard saying, look, I recognize, you know what I'm saying? And I apologize. And can we be tight now? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's dope, man. I really do. I feel like it, whether it was a publicity stunt, whether the comments on the show were just done to, as a genius, 5 move ahead chess move to plot to dropping this single or not, that's a whole nother thing. But I just want to take time and celebrate this and talk about it in a positive light, because I think it's really important for the culture.
Right, but the culture, in an extent, it needs to not be about beef all the time. Like, this feels like the same shit that happened with MGK and Eminem. So now, like, MGK could go and usher in his new life as a pop rock artist. You know what I'm saying? And because both of those beats for for that song off of Kamikaze and for Rap Devil were both produced by the same guy. And that's how you could tell that song was that beef was orchestrated by the label. They both were signed to the same label and everything. I'm not sure. I believe 21 Savage is signed to Epic and everything like that. So it isn't the labels orchestrating this exactly, but it's fairly easy to see. It's like, come on now, like, it might take 21 Savage a long time to actually go and write a verse, but maybe it may not as well too. I think he might freestyle his bars off the top of his head, because he has like a very simplified way.
I've never heard any verse by 21 Savage that made me think he took a long time to write it. So you're probably right. He probably but he might out pretty quick. He might.
Might. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know how long it took for this song to actually get to come together. And given the 2 weeks, the 2 week span of this whole little debacle, maybe there could be some levity to it, that it could be truthful. But if it's a beef that was just started for a publicity stunt, I think hip hop needs to stop that shit and, just go straight up and just do the collaboration, put it on the album or release it as a single. You know what I'm saying? Because now this is a promotional single, and it seems kind of backwards the way it was done. Like, wouldn't you go and release the promotional single before the album drops?
Yeah, no, that's why I don't think it was necessarily that kind of a promotional single. I think it was more of a response to the situation, and saying, look, we can't come together and we can't collaborate, and there's no reason for us to act like, the guys that came before us ain't shit, or us to act like these kids don't know what they're doing. There's really no reason. We should take these kids under our wing and guide them, and so that won't happen. And if this was a publicity stunt, I say kudos for coming up with some idea to be a spark, or a catalyst for this movement. And I agree with you that beefs and all of that should, be a thing of the past. And maybe they could have come up with a better way to introduce this, if that was the case of how it went. But nonetheless, I think the goal that we should focus on is, you know what I'm saying, that I can't say nothing bad about 21 now, because I really respect him doing that. I respect his verses. I respect what he said, and I respect that he did that, because most of these young cats wouldn't have done that. And I think he's like a role model in that way, saying, look, we can do this, still be cool. And matter of fact, I think he looks that much cooler for doing it. He looks that much more of a man for doing it. You know what I'm saying? He has more respect for me now. He had none before, zero. And now it's, now it's a 1, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? I respect the, you know, you know, the results, you know, regardless of how they did it. Stu, I think you are
Was
chiming in, but I think your thing is muted or something because we can't hear you.
No, I wasn't saying that.
Oh, okay. I saw your mouth. I thought you was.
Nah.
But yeah, man. Did
I was
you?
just asking Alexa some advice, man. But you know, from a 30-year-old perspective of 21 Savage, you're a 30-year-old man, bro. You
Yeah.
acting like one.
Is he
You
30
know what I'm
already?
saying? That's just
I think he's like
yeah.
22 or something. Oh, okay.
That joker 30 years old.
Oh
Look it
wow.
up. Well, he's 30 years old. And Nas just turned what 49 this year. So like
Yeah.
you got two grown men. Yeah, you got two grown men. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it was supposed to be handled. Like we
Yeah.
gotta keep it a buck. You can't let the media. We let the media get in the middle of hip hop before, and look what happened. Biggie died, Tupac died. You know what I'm
East
saying?
Coast,
Just
West
for
Coast
them,
war,
East Coast,
a
West
whole
Coast
coast.
war, a
Yeah.
whole coast,
which is very
just on them.
disappointing on
Yeah,
Quincy
just on them
Jones'
with
part
their stuff.
because Vibe Magazine was a Quincy Jones production, and I'm just like, fuck, like I believe he was the editor around that time as well too. When just like damn, like I respect Quincy Jones of course, but it's just like fuck, like that's like the first magazine that ran with that story with
Yeah.
with that
They
on the
started
cover
it.
and everything. So that's always going to be a blemish on his legacy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I mean, whether it is or it isn't, we didn't have so. That's how we were connected back then. Magazines, newspapers,
Right.
news feeds.
That was
We
our. That
didn't
was
Yeah,
have
our.
fresh big
So
cover
right.
that
and
was
We
the
had the
sports on
internet.
internet.
my
Yeah.
eye.
Right. We
Yeah.
had the internet, but nobody
No
was on it
social media.
socially. It wasn't
Right.
no social. It wasn't no social aspect to it back then. It was all information. So like,
Yeah.
and you know, you could connect computer to computer
Well,
and
chat
talk to
rooms and
people.
stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, they had small chat rooms like Yahoo and all that, but it wasn't nothing like it is today where we just all
Nah,
connected through the internet. So like,
information everywhere.
I just think, you know, I heard the song, it was alright, but I just think that, you know, we gotta move on from it. 21 Savage, to be honest with you, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. 21 Savage, he ain't even American. Let's just keep it a buck. That's number one. Number
So
Yeah,
two,
he's
he
from
lives in
he
Slick
was
Rick.
where
here.
Ozzy
He
Osbourne's
was
from,
here.
Birmingham,
Right. He was
UK.
here. Right. He was
Yeah,
here
he likes
legally.
Slick Rick.
Yeah, he liked Slick Rick. He was here legally,
British.
but Slick Rick wasn't. Rick
Mm.
wasn't here legally, but he was.
Salute to
And you
Slick
know,
Rick.
so he can't really
Salute to
say.
Slick
So for
Rick.
somebody to say he from, if somebody be like he from the South, he not. He ain't really ain't from the South. He was down there. He grew up down there, and you know, he just adapted to the culture.
But people can
But
say the
let's
same
keep
thing
it.
about like Ludacris or about like because Ludacris is from Chicago, but he got his shine over in Atlanta. People could say the same thing about Ice-T, who's from New Jersey, but he got his
Nah,
shine where I'm from in LA. You
nah,
know what
it's
I'm saying?
different. It's
So
different for them. Nah, it's different for them. Cause you know what the difference
I
is?
think it's the same with
They
21
from the
Savage though.
U.S.
Why would you say it's
They
different?
from. Cause he ain't from the U.S. He wasn't born here. He was not
Well,
born
I
in the
mean,
U.S.
nah,
He
he
wasn't
wasn't born here,
born
but
here.
I think he was a little kid when he came to Georgia or
Yeah, he
wherever,
was a little kid, but
Florida.
he but first of all, he wasn't born here. Ice T was
No,
born
he was
here. He
not. He
just
wasn't
moved.
a citizen.
DJ Muggs is from Queens. He moved when he was a kid. They
Right.
moved to LA. He
Yeah,
been out
repping
there. He
Southgate.
rep LA. He just rep
Tupac
LA.
Yeah,
from
So it's
Southgate,
like,
Los
Baltimore,
Angeles.
so you know,
yeah. So it's just like you can't. For him to say he from the South and he really can't say that. He could be like, you know, it would be more appropriate. He's
he
like, you know, I
repping the
grew up in the
South. He
South.
doing Southern.
Like I
He
grew up in the
repping.
South side, you know, so that's
Yeah.
how I'm getting down. I can
Right.
respect that. But for him
Right.
to act like he American, have everybody fooled for years,
I believe he did
You
grow
know,
up in Atlanta though when he was a youth. So because of that, like I feel like as if his Atlanta claiming is more authentic than even Ludacris or Ice-T, who are originally from, one originally from the Midwest, the other originally from the tri-state area, and where
I
they
think of
transplanted from
Ice-T as
because they were adults when they did that. They were college age,
Ice-T is like an LA rapper though, I thought.
But
yeah, he from
Ice-T was
LA.
Y'all
originally
don't
from New
claim
Yeah,
Ice-T
Jersey.
yeah.
out there in
He rep
Cali as a
Ice
West
T.
Coast?
Ice T
Yeah,
claim
Ice-T
LA.
was
He
originally
claim the
from
West
New
hard.
Jersey.
Ice
Yeah,
T
but y'all
claim the
don't.
West hard. He
Yeah,
claimed the
you
West
But
know,
hard.
it's like Big Sean and how he's originally from He's originally from Los Angeles, but he moved over to Detroit. And for a long time, I couldn't really see the Detroit in him, to be honest. But as I started listening to like Boldy James, I'm like, okay, like I could see how like the lazy, like slow flow is in Detroit, because me actually staying in Detroit for a time and knowing my biological father for like a few months of my life and him being from Detroit, cats move a little bit fast over there, but there's a difference between like the west side and the east side. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's there's a lot of different politics and mannerisms from different areas of the D. So yeah, but Big Sean's originally from LA, but I want to call him an LA rapper. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that's the same situation that we have going on with 21, even though his passport's different. It's very similar to different regions as well too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, I don't care where 21's from. I don't care a lot about 21. I don't care
Yeah, I don't
much
care a
about
lot about
21
it.
Savage.
Y'all don't care about 21 too much either. Yeah, man,
Yeah,
I'm the same way. That's why I was
I'm
like, that's why I was
talking.
like, look, he from. That's why I was like,
My
look.
thing is just, I
Originally he
just like
from.
seeing the
Originally he
younger
from Britain.
generation.
That's
I like the
yeah.
younger generation finally paying homage, finally saying, finally
They need
recognizing.
to,
That's all.
Reno. Rap is
They
the
need to,
only.
and they
I
and they
say it. I
finally
say it
did.
on this. I say it on this show all the
Right,
time, Reno. Rap is the only music where the younger generation don't pay respect to the older generation.
right.
That's the only one.
Word.
Hip hop is the only community that do that. If you talk to a bunch of young hard rockers that and you mention Aerosmith, you mention Led Zeppelin, they be like, oh dude, they're great. This, that, yeah, we
Yeah.
own their albums, like
Or
bruh,
even R&B, soul, any
R&B,
kind of music.
yeah, they everybody.
Any,
Hip hop is the
yeah,
only one that don't pay homage to this
right.
generation now, but they don't pay homage to the people that came before them, man. I don't get that, man. I'm never gonna get it. I don't even know
Yeah,
where that when
man.
that even started, bro.
I
But
understand it
I'm
because
hoping I'm
as a
hoping that
as a
this.
person who's really observed Afrocentric studies and being of the Afrocentric community, you know what I'm saying, and visiting a bunch of chocolate cities over the past 3 years, a lot of like the older heads will try to go and acclimate to what the younger heads are doing, as opposed to other ethnicities that value their elders. You know what I'm saying? It's not just within the music. So the art then becomes a reflection of light. And that is it's a symptom of colonialism and how it's affected the world over. It's just a
Mm,
symptom of that.
right, like you're
That
saying, like
disposal and that disregard for the
the
elders
elders
in the
follow the
Afrocentric
youth.
community.
The elders follow the youth trends versus the youth trying to aspire to be like the elders. That's interesting. That's interesting.
yeah, hip hop don't do it, bro. I don't know why or who started it, but it's got to stop because it's true. If somebody didn't pave the way for you to do it, how you gonna do it? Somebody else doing. I mean, how you gonna do something that you like if somebody didn't pay? Like, James Brown paved the way for modern day R&B. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Certain rock and roll has paved the way for modern day rock and roll. You gotta pay homage, man. You gotta say salute. You gotta say thank you for this, so I can eat. Now I'm doing something that I love. You know what I mean? So it ain't like I'm going to work. Like you gotta pay that. You gotta pay that
Mhm.
respect.
Which is
Absolutely.
something that was being done, especially in the late 90s with Rockefellers, like just to mention Rockefeller and just, those two golden gooses, Just Blaze and Kanye West, which is something that I really hope doesn't get overlooked as history progresses with their rich knowledge of using Motown type sounds and 60s soul and those pastiches to create some of the greatest hip hop records ever. I hope that doesn't get, washed out as, Kanye is currently going through this downturn. Kim just uh, you know, trying to put him on child support and all that. And people are really trying to tear down this man's name. But at the end of the day, he was one of those individuals, as well as Just Blaze, who decided to pay homage to the cultures that inspired hip hop, the elders before we now have these elders, before Kanye himself and Just Blaze became elders. You know what I mean? Within this rich culture.
Hmm. Hmm. Good points. Good points. Um. Yeah, man. I mean, it's something that has to change, and I hope that this
Yeah,
is a
it does have to
catalyst for
change.
that change. I hope
Me
that
too.
this
Me too.
is the
Yeah.
beginning, and I hope, I hope this, I hope this inspires other young artists to either collab or just some, pay homage or
If you,
whatever.
yeah, because
And
if you think
yeah,
about it,
so
Reno, it's a lot. It's a lot of young artists could learn from the locks. It's a lot of
yeah,
younger artists could learn from.
come
You know what I'm
on.
saying? Drake or somebody like that. Like there's a lot they could learn from them, and there's a lot of collabos they could do behind the scenes. There's a lot of things they could do behind the scenes where they all could keep eating. Like if you saw, I watched that whole the whole what's your name with Matt Hoffa and with Matt Hoffa and Search, and Search said it the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was like, "Look, y'all don't get it. After a while, I set myself up to eat off of this for years to come, even my
Mhm.
grandkids." He was like, you got to get smarter in the business. When you first come in, yeah, it's about the fame and the flash and all that, but that opens the door for you to eat later on, and you got to take those opportunities because, like you said, you ain't gonna be popping forever. You're not gonna be popping forever. You're not gonna be on top forever. You're not gonna be that artist forever. You're not gonna be the number one artist or the number one song forever. It's not gonna happen. And so
Mhm.
if you're not that big into like Sir said, we was talented. I could rap, I could rhyme, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I knew I wasn't gonna last. Like Nas, like I'm not a Nas. You got Nas. Is this gonna be Nas's that come out of this generation of rappers? The guys are gonna be doing it. They're gonna be in the 40s and 50s. They're still gonna be kicking it. But not
Yep.
everybody. Not
No,
everybody.
it's only one Nas. I mean, it's not a
Exactly.
bunch of them, you know? So,
Exactly.
yeah, we'll see. But
And for heads
um
that want people that actually do pay homage and respect, you know, and if they're pissed off and incensed about the 21 Savage situation and what it could have become, I highly recommend that they go and check out like Sadat X's latest record. You got young cats like Jay Worthy and like Crime Apple over there on those records paying homage to the God MC. You know what I'm saying? I advise that they look into like, 38 Special, who did like a whole tape with Cool G Rap just in the past, several years. You know what I'm saying? And it basically like in the underground, we pay our respects, we show our props, and we make sure that our legends don't die, as opposed to the mainstream. Whereas this beef could have been a serious issue and could have also been, convoluted. The mainstream doesn't have the same type of respect. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, mainstream hip
you
hop
know,
is definitely a different creature altogether. And yeah, that's where the discrepancy lies,
like I love
underground
Nas.
hip
Don't
hop is hip hop. Underground hip hop is fine. I mean, young cats, old cats, everybody respect everybody in hip hop, in real underground hip hop. It's definitely the mainstream rap, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
that
it's
has
it's
the
commercial
issue.
rap, and the thing
Yeah.
about it is like I love Nas, and I like the other week when I was in St. Petersburg and going to the movie theater over there and seeing like the Nas advertisement on the TV screens in the theater. I'm like, yo, this is like a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? It's mature, it's astute. You know what I mean? But then there's certain things like how Nas was advertising for Hennessy, recently. I didn't like that. You know what I mean? There's certain things that I kind of want, an elder statesman like that to stay clear of, but I understand that there's still that commercial aspect in the game. So, there you teeter that line, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I
well,
highly just recommend that heads, really dig into those underground crates, because these underground cats are not playing, they're still dropping new shit, you know what I mean? And we keep it alive here in the underground, you know what I mean?
oh
Well, you
yeah.
got you gotta know. Well, you gotta know one thing, man. I always say the same thing: facts over feelings. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how anybody feel.
Right.
21 Savage, whoever, the person that wrote that article, whatever. The facts is the facts. Is that when Nas came out back in the late '90s, like I'm gonna keep it a buck. Everybody knew he was the one to carry the torch into the 2000 and beyond. Everybody knew that. Everybody, if you could ask any rapper that was around at that time that was bigger than Nas when he first came out with Illmatic, you could ask anybody famous, they're gonna tell you that. They're gonna be like, yeah, we knew he was special. Nas was that next level evolutionary rapper that came out of what came before him. Like, and you can tell in his rhymes, you could tell he influenced a lot
Mhm.
of jokers, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Nas was there. You know, like look at everybody that came after him. Pig, Wu-Tang, all of them changed their rhyme. All their rhyme styles is
Name a rapper
reflected.
that I ain't influence.
Yeah, he right. All of that is Nas. I'm gonna put it to. I'm gonna just end it like this. And like I said, facts over feelings. Nas doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to hook up with a newer producer for today and drop his
Evolve.
lyrical style. Drop his lyrical style
His
over that
Illmatic
producers, right? Over that producer
that
stuff,
new shit.
and we get some funky music and we keep it moving. That's how it's supposed to go.
That's how you
Now, if it
evolve.
don't go like that, right? If it don't go like that, then we was wrong. Nas wasn't the one to carry the torch, but we wasn't wrong. And he is carrying the torch.
30 years
and
later.
he is still right 30 years later. And we know, because we know if he get in there and he do it right, he's supposed to last 20, 30 years in the business.
Exactly.
He was the first artist
Supposed to
to
last
come out.
longer than that.
And matter of fact, he's digressing. As a matter of fact, he's degressing by doing just Hit Boy. Because his first album, he had 5 different producers on his album. Nobody had ever did that. The record company didn't even want to go with that. They was like, wait, you got 5 producers, 5 different jokers.
Hang on, I'm gonna have to hold up on that nod because maybe it was time for a change. I mean, to see him instead go and actually do the one MC, one DJ thing is something that was untested before he did the Kanye West record Nasir. You know what I mean? And I think that I think it's a lot dope. I think that's dope because not a lot of MCs do that. A lot of other MCs, they start off doing one MC, one DJ. For example, Crime Apple, like he did some stuff with like DJ Skiz coming out, and or like Big Ghost Limited and things of that nature. You know what I mean? And it took a while for him to actually go and like make a pastiche of like different DJs, of course, because the DJs, it's a different type of budget when you're dealing with one DJ as opposed to dealing with multiple DJs for an album. But Nas has the luxury to choose to do either or. I'm up in a parking lot. Hold up.
Yeah, but he didn't have that luxury when he first did it. When he first did it,
yeah.
That was off the strength of his talent.
That was off the strength
of his talent. Professor, Q-Tip, them guys wanted to get with him.
They wanted it, yeah. Pete Rock. You had Pete Rock. You had Primo. All of them. We talk about this
one single off the Nasty Nas,
off the just that Nasty Nas, yeah,
off the soundtrack.
Man, you got to remember, if any one of those producers, if any producer that was on that first, if any producer that was on that first Nas album, call your name, you know you made it.
Oh hell yeah! If I have Mark,
you the man.
If I had,
you the man.
Wonder. If I had, what I mean, any member of the Native Tongues, hook me up with a beat, I would already know that I'd be set. And I think that I like the fact that that Nas, set the bar so that way like a group like Nonfiction could go and elevate that, because on Nonfiction's premiere LP, which was also managed by MC Search, they had Pete Rock, Primo, Pro, and they also had Native Tongues, except instead of it being Q-Tip, they had the Beatnuts do instrumentals and also provide vocals. So yeah, like Nas really set the bar on that. You know what I mean?
Word up. Diamond Onyx in the building. Salute. Diamond Onyx ain't seen you in a minute, girl.
Ain't seen you in a minute, yeah.
No one Brad said, I just seen your IG, Reno. I might can help. I was trying. Oh, word? All right, Norm, we gonna talk. We gonna talk, homie. For real. We definitely gonna talk. Homie.
Hey, yo, Norm Rad, yo, Silver Surfer, do what you can to make my insurance go down, man. I'm trying to get up on that. For real. They saying I gotta wait like 3 to 5 years. Do what you can. Yeah.
That CDL, man. CDLs ain't no joke. A lot of people told me that. A lot of people always told me that.
In my 30s, man. I'm trying to get that right now. That's a paper.
Yeah, a lot of people told me get your CDLs no matter what age you're at. A lot of people tell me that.
Yeah.
Get your CDLs. They always told me that, man.
So
man, that's I was on my teams.
It's Wednesday. On Wednesdays, we always chop up. We always review the newest Disney Plus current series. And right now we got Willow on deck. My man Ufgood out here with the flamethrower, looking crucial. Stu, did you get a chance to see Willow? Because I know
not Willow. Yeah, I watched the episode early this morning because it just popped up on my Disney Plus last night. So I said I'm gonna
Right.
watch it in the morning. So I watched one
Yeah.
this morning. I watched one this afternoon, and it started off better than Lord of the Rings. I
It
mean,
started off cool. Yeah, it did.
yeah, because Lord of the Rings was slow. This wasn't
Yeah.
slow. It
Yeah,
wasn't
Yeah.
slow at all.
you know.
Yeah, it wasn't slow at all.
Yeah.
That's why when you said that, I was like, yo, that's not really too hard of a bar, too high of a bar to actually clear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Lord of the Rings, I like the way when Lord of the Rings ended was cool, but the way it started, I was like, oh God, can
Yeah.
we please move on with this story? I mean, the story progression, this was good. It was good, man. They moved
Yeah.
on. They ain't play no game. They ain't waste no time. They met Willow in the very first episode we saw. We get to see Willow, and
Yeah.
we get to
It
see
reminded.
Princess Allura. We got to see Princess
Yeah.
Allura at the end. I like
Yeah.
that.
Well,
I
I
like
mean,
that.
they reveal who she was at the end. Yeah.
Right. I
Because
did.
she
Yeah.
was in
I
the,
like that.
I thought Allura was gonna be the redhead girl with the curly hair because
I
in
did
the
too,
movie,
Reno. I did
Allura
too.
Danning got curly red hair.
Got
So
curly
like,
red hair. I did
I was
too,
like,
Reno.
oh, that's
I
her,
did
that's
too.
her. And yeah, so they threw us for a little loop. But for a lot of people, and I know like Lord of the Rings was pretty recent, like in the 2000s at least. But I know for a lot of people, Willow has like just faded and forgotten. Because it's 1988. But it was also like Star Wars, a George Lucas, and Indiana Jones, a George Lucas created joint. It was Ron Howard directed epic fantasy film, big blockbuster fantasy. It was a one-off success. Didn't have a big, you know, franchise, a bunch of trilogies. It never really reached the heights of a Star Wars. It never really got a true sequel. But it did spawn a fascinating trilogy of fantasy novels focused on Allura Dannon by Chris Claremont, who is the GOAT of fucking X-Men. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. And then an old Nintendo game, if some of y'all remember, the RPG modeled after Zelda, the Willow joint. That was the joint back in the day. And I got down. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed the series. You know what I'm saying? Not as much as the original film or anything like that, but for me, you got to understand, like Willow never really drifted into obscurity. Like it's something that's always there for me because I'm a George Lucas fan. I mean, they talk about it in movies and things like that, and I've seen Willow a dozen times, and you know what I'm saying. It's one of those rare gems of good special effects. Good comedy and action, great fantasy. But like I said, didn't come with its own massive fandom. An extended universe of different fictions and expectations for sequels and prequel trilogies and all the other baggage that enormously popular IPs come bogged down with. But now we have a show, and it's created by Jonathan Kasdan, who is the son of Star Wars writer Lawrence Kasdan, and the father-son pair wrote Solo, a Star Wars story, and that could have been a decent movie if they picked an actor that could actually act like Harrison Ford or act like Han
Yo,
Solo.
God, dude, that film was
But
dope. I really
uh,
enjoyed that film.
apparently the younger son is a big super fan of Willow. So and so
To be can tell.
yeah. Only but after watching the Disney Plus sequel series, I have to wonder whether he watched the same movie because the I don't know, the trappings of the old Willow are certainly there, but and some
It's just
familiar
off.
characters come
Yeah, it's
back.
just off a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
But Warwick Davis does reprise his role, and obviously, and Joanna Wally returns as Sorsha, which was cool. And there's others as well, but I'm not gonna do the recap right now, but I will do a recap in a second. But what I can't understand is the streaming series is this series version of it's very bizarre and incoherent tonal and creative choices. The original film did blend American and English accents, but it worked, and they included bits of dialogue that might feel a bit more modern than say like a Lord of the Rings, but overall it always felt like epic fantasy with a bit of Star Wars thrown in for good measure, and there's no denying that Mad Mardigan is a distant relative of Han Solo, or that the magic wielded by the demon queen Bavmorda and the sorceress Finn Rizal is definitely inspired by the Force in a different package. Because your boy, the High Aldwin, tells Willow in the movie, he said, "Magic is the bloodstream of the universe. It binds us and connects us." I mean, it's the Force.
That's the Force, yo.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But in the series, however, the characters speak in a vernacular so modern that it's jarring. I mean, it's like the dialogue is filled with like cringy modern phrases like, "Let's go kick some ass," or the word "like" sprinkled in, like, "She was like this gorgeous like princess," like, come on, and so forth. But
Or phenomenal. Like remember
exactly.
when the shit was talking about if the girl could cook,
Yeah.
she was like, "I'm phenomenal."
Yeah. Like, come on, that's a new thing. So how would they know that? But just as puzzling are the music choices. This is not the original film. I mean, so the episodes almost seem to universally end with some modern song, like some Metallica cover or something that make me want to throw the damn TV. But Willow, the film had gorgeous music composed by James Horner that rivals anything in Star Wars. And that still conjures up a deep emotion in me when I hear it. So, and I don't want to hear Metallica at the end of a fantasy episode. This is not Stranger Things. Like, that works.
Yo, James Horner is the shit. If they would have got him to return, that would have been perfect. I remember he did a good soundtrack for that Eminem flick, Southpaw.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't him or Danny Elfman or some crazy big composer, just some fantasy fucking music. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's but
that's
show,
that's what we want.
I mean, that's fantasy, but
it gets us into it. It gets us into it, man.
Yeah, it's immersive. It's immersive.
Yeah, when you hear March of the Empire, you know what it's going to be.
Right.
When you hear March of the Empire, you know what it's going to be.
Right. Like, even if you've never heard that song before, it's coming. Something coming.
Yeah, you know something coming. Right.
Yeah, it works. It scores the movie It scores the movie. See, people don't understand. A score is not a soundtrack. A score helps the story along. It gives you the emotions and the vibes and the feelings. It makes you feel scared and nervous and happy.
That's
and blah, blah, blah.
That's true. Like Jaws. Look at Jaws. They said when they did Jaws, and the composer came up to him with the dun 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 dun. They said they looked at each other like, wait a minute, like, no. And they said everybody in the room was like, no. They're saying, and they said the composer was like, look, I'm looking at what y'all doing. Like, just do this. And he said they argued for like a week. And then they finally just said, you know what, let's just do it. And they did it. And they said when they released it, even though the director and them still didn't like it, it was iconic once it hit the theaters and the public got to see it. Outsold everything. And Jaws is supposed to be like a B movie sleeper hit. But that score,
and it's like the biggest movie of all time.
Yeah, that score, just that when you hear that right there, push the movie over the top.
Have you ever watched a movie with a different score?
9 Inch Nails? You know how like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, how they just been hitting it out the park over the years. They just did a score for a film that I reviewed a couple weeks ago for Comic Crusaders, Bones and All, actually a week ago.
Dope.
And like it's amazing to just hear like one strum of a guitar string and it'll like set off like the whole shit. You know what I mean? We're just like a couple of strums or just like well-placed drums, like well-placed pads being hit on one end of the, I forget exactly what you call it, the left and right parts of like a headphone or part of a speaker, but on just stereo. One side, and how that'll just like change things up.
Well, I mean, if you've ever watched a horror movie and changed the music from the spooky score to like a comedy reel or even just something normal, it takes it. Yeah, it completely
takes
makes
away.
It funny.
It does.
Yeah, you won't even be, but Willow, the show, I think it's a fun enough adventure. And we'll be reviewing and recapping the episodes as they go forward each Wednesday with spoilers. But between it's often terrible dialogue, not just the way they talk, the dialogue, the script, bizarre use of modern music and vernacular, and at times truly baffling costume choices that I don't get. But I find myself wondering again if Jonathan Kasdan has even seen the original film in the intervening decades. But I know this is a passion project for Davis. He's a super Willow fan, so I don't know what the fuck is going on with Kasdan, but Warwick Davis, Willow was a breakout role for him. He was 18 at the time, and he played Wicket. He was the Ewok Wicket.
Wait a minute, he was 18 at the time when that came out?
Yeah.
Wow, I never knew that. I thought he was older, but
no, because if you go back now and look at the footage from the original movie, he looks super young. Like I don't remember him looking that young. He looks like a little kid. And now I'm 43 years old. When I saw the movie, I was a little kid, but he looked older to me then. But we'll look at him now. You can tell he was 18. But but for a very good decision, and fun action sequence or scary evil monster, there's 10 things that annoy me and irritate me about it. So it's I should note also that some will take issue with the gay romance that takes up a lot of the show's screen time.
Yes, it does.
But the
too much.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like this doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. But the real problem there is that the characters involved simply feel like part of a too bloated cast. The Willow, the film, had a lot of characters, but it was clear who the protagonist was, who the main ones were. Mad Mardigan and Willow, you know what I'm saying? And Laura Dannon is a more of an adorable MacGuffin. And here the cast is too big and the story's too busy. Nor should fans take issue with the show's diversity or call it forced or woke in the casting, because Willow was diverse in 1988 with some of the fiercest Nelwyn fighters were black and little people. So that's not an issue.
And even super little people.
Right. The brownies, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. All told, I'm not as disappointed as I was with Rings of Power. And again, I think it's because and I'm not saying that it looks better visually. Rings of Power looked fucking amazing.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. But, I can't say anything bad about the visual. But it was just the pace of the show.
And Lord of the Rings is this big deal. Willow's just a little movie, so I don't expect as much from it. So I think like Willow from film to show, Lord of the Rings from films to show, Willow is a much closer match, to the original, to the feel of the original.
Yo, it's disappointing, guys, but I gotta bounce out. Before I bounce out, I just want to tell the audience, when it comes down to recommendations for the books this week, I'm highly recommending Nubia at the Justice League, a book under Image Comics known as Flawless, and also Christopher Priest's latest Vampirella Year One. So yeah, that Nubia in the Justice League. Come on, Reno. Put that you up in there. Put that you up in there. Oh, and Justice Society, Justice Society of America #1 as well too. That new Golden Age run. Jeff Johns, he's over there shitting on the comic book universe again, as he should, in the best way possible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, get that Justice Society. Get that new Flawless. Get that new Flawless and get that new.
Don't forget Batman and Spawn. Don't forget Batman and Spawn. Don't forget Batman and Spawn.
Oh, that hasn't came out yet, but it's being advertised. Yeah, that's coming up with McFarlane back on the script and
the hardcover
back on the art.
The hardcover reprint is out. The hardcover reprint.
Yes, it is. Yeah, but there's a new chapter coming up. A new one shot coming up. So hit the Cash App, by the way, y'all. CVR the Bard 1 and 1.
All right, brother. We'll see you Saturday. Peace. Yeah.
He said he had to get up out of Dodge.
Where?
So be on the move.
Oh yeah. 3D sound. Boom. We wanna know what Sever thinks about Willow. Oh yeah, he didn't say. I don't think he saw it. I don't think Sever saw Willow. I don't know that he's seen it, but like I said, I'm personally not as disappointed as I was with Rings of Power, but for different reasons. And I'm not saying it's better than Rings of Power or what, but it's just less of a disappointment level.
That's true.
Yeah, but
that's true.
And again, the creative choices are often bizarre and off-putting. And ultimately, this is not the Willow series I'd hoped for or that I would have made had I been given the task of continuing the story of, one of the coolest, 80s films of my childhood. But there is a good story underneath, and beneath all the bad, and and some of the characters, like Amar Chada's Patel's Borman is great. He's genuinely good. And I think he's sort of the replacement for Matt Mardigan, because Val Kilmer
Oh
obviously
yeah,
can't
come
do
in.
it.
Yeah, I did hear that he's going to be in it somehow. I forget what they. I read
Mm,
this a long time ago, but I don't. I
mm,
don't know how, and I don't know to what capacity,
mm.
because you know he
I
can't.
don't.
You know he can't speak, so I don't know.
Yeah, you can't. But who knows, man? If they do something, they might do something. Um, the what was I? Where was I? Oh yeah, the guy Borman. The Mad Mardigan's replacement. I thought he was dope. I thought he was dope. And but this is like so many of these modern adaptations and sequels. A pale shadow in comparison to 1988's Willow film. Um, Maybe I'm just feeling, a little spoiled by Andor because,
No,
but
you. No,
uh,
you hitting
I
the
know
nail
this
on the head
could
because
be
I felt
better.
the
It
same
could be
way.
better.
I
Yeah.
felt the same way about Willow. I thought it was. I thought it was good. It wasn't great, but it was. It was. The pace was way better than Rings of
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah.
Um.
It's fun.
Yeah, I can't. I can't say anything bad about it. Like you said, the gay romance just takes up too much time, and they make it clear, evident from the first scene in the movie that
Yeah.
that's what that is. And
Yeah.
I don't even understand why that had to even be there, but it
I
doesn't
mean,
progress the story at all.
yeah, my thing with it is like it's fine if it's there, just like any romance in a movie. But if it's not a romance movie, then I don't want to take up so much of the movie about any romance, be it gay, straight, no matter what. Just
It's true. It's true.
it's not a romance
Progress,
movie. So why are we
right? If it don't
focusing on
progress
this?
the story, right? Why are we focused
Just
on
to
it? That's how I
show
feel.
gay romance, to say, look, we're diverse too. Look, we're down with LGBT. That's all it is, and you can tell it's so obvious, and it's painfully obvious.
Well,
And
did
it's
you get
just
the article I sent you where the new former head of Disney CEO said that they're gonna stop that.
mm,
He said we're
yeah,
gonna stay neutral from now on because he said it's too political. It's just too much, and he says we got to stay neutral. Can't get into
right,
that, and it
yeah,
takes away from the movies. I mean, it takes away from the shows, the movies. Some people don't want to show their kids that, and Disney's always been like Raven. When Raven was on, I listened to an interview one day where she was saying she said she was gay. She said she liked women,
mhm,
and they were like, and so the interviewer asked her, "Oh, why you don't embrace that on the show?" And she was like, "You know what? I can't." She said, "It's Disney." She said, "Come on
mm.
now, how can I?" She said, "How can I be on the show promoting the fact that I'm gay?" You know what I mean? But I work for Disney.
Back then, she couldn't
Back
do
then,
that. Back then, yeah,
and that's what she said. Yeah, she said, "Nah." She said it wouldn't even seem right, and she didn't care. She said, "I'm having fun,
yeah,
doing what I'm doing. I just don't need to promote that right now. Not on that show, and not everybody. But it's true.
yeah. He
It's
said,
100% true.
Bob Iger, and another great thing about Bob Iger coming to Disney, I think we're gonna I think we're seeing the end of Kathleen Kennedy's reign on Lucasfilm, on Star Wars. But what Iger is telling his employees, that he wants to quiet down culture wars, respect
Yes.
the audience. Um,
Yeah.
he said he wants to lead an effort to quiet things down when it comes to the recent cultural and political controversies that have engulfed the company. He's a fucking that's smart. Thank you for waking the hell up, Mrs. The woke community doesn't seem to be woke. They're not awake. Wake up, guys. You're not paying attention to your audience. You're not, because that's not what people want. Manhattan Institute senior fellow Chris Rufo shared an exclusive video he obtained of the Disney CEO speaking to employees at a town hall, where he called for respect for the audience and no disdain of their views, because stay out of making political statements, is what he said. He said Iger at first insisted there was a misconception about the company, that some issues have been branded political, and that he doesn't necessarily agree those issues are political. He said, "Do I like the company being embroiled in controversy? Of course not. It can be distracting, and it can have a negative impact on the company. And to the extent that I can work to kind of quiet things down, I'm going to do that, he said. And another town hall question was about the Florida Parental Rights and Education Act, which critics have dubbed it "Don't Say Gay" law, where Iger answered cautiously, noting when you tell stories, there's a delicate balance. You're talking to an audience, but it's also important to listen to an audience. It's important to have respect for the people that you're serving and you're trying to reach and not have disdain from. And I mean, it seems like common sense to me, but I guess this was something he had to say. Because to me, it sounds like, to me, it's common sense. I mean, if you're trying, if you want to reach someone, like let's say I was from the LGBT community, for example, and I wanted to reach people about my plight or my situation or my culture. I'm not going to offend them. I'm not going to try and nana boo boo them. I'm going to, just like Tupac, speak to them in a way that they can understand first and then inject my information. That's how you connect with people. That's how you get
That's
people
true.
to see your point of view. Doing it the other way, you just turns people off. They don't want to find out. Now I don't even want to know because you're an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? So he said, we're not going to make everyone happy all the time. We're not going to try to. We're certainly not going to lessen our core values in order to make everyone happy all the time, Iger said. And last week, former CEO Bob Chapek was fired by Disney's board of directors. Chapek replaced Iger in 2020, who ran the company since 2005 and was executive chairman in 2021 until he retired. Chapek's tenure saw the Sada, what's up?
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
Miss Santa. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah. We were just talking about Bob Iger talking about doing something to stop the political, like, controversy and stuff like that around Disney, all the woke stuff, and try to not, what he said was work to kind of quiet things down.
Yeah, stay neutral. Stay neutral.
Yeah.
Stay
Just
neutral.
have respect
Right.
rather than
Yeah, we're not
disdain
gonna get into
for the audience. Listen to the audience. This is not what they obviously don't want. So if you want to reach somebody, don't shove it down their throat. Give it to them in baby bites so that they can consume it, so they can, this is how you reach people. But Bob
This is
Chapek's
true.
tenure, while he was in there, it saw the battle with Florida Republican Ron DeSantis in Florida over the parental rights bill. And Chapek criticized the bill, vowing the company would work hard to repeal it. And Republicans in the state legislature moved to strip Disney of its self-governing status because I don't know. I think it was even Sada. Somebody said something about Disney being its own government. Was that you, Sada?
Oh, I don't know if that was.
Oh no, maybe that was my son. But according to Rufo, the latest comments by Iger indicate an important shift. Iger is signaling that Disney is moderating its position in the culture war, basically staying out of the culture war because it's not good for business, guys. It's bad for business. And it's bad for storytelling. Let's be honest. It's not good storytelling. It's just not. It's not conducive with storytelling. It's not storytelling. It's something else. So, since you guys are in the storytelling business, makes sense. But that's what you had sent me, Stu. That's the article that Stu sent me. But Willow, did you see Willow, Sada?
No, did that come out?
Yeah, it just came out. Yeah, today or like last night. Yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, because obviously you weren't even probably alive when Willow came out. Did you ever see the original movie?
Oh no, I have no idea what that is. I just know that it was coming. It was supposed to happen on Disney Plus, I didn't realize it came out.
Yeah. Well, Jonathan Kasdan, the son of Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Star Wars, developed this series as a sequel. It is a sequel, direct sequel to the 1988 film, which was directed by Ron Howard. And yes, they are both named just Willow. No creative spin on the sequel. The film saw the evil sorceress Queen Bavmorda of Nakmar sending her daughter Sorsha and an army led by General Kale to hunt down baby Elora Danan, because the baby was destined to bring about her downfall. They said this is the baby that's going to end your rule, and so she wants to kill it. But after being sent adrift by a midwife down a river, the baby Elora was discovered by the title character Willow and tasked with taking her to the Dikini, which is the little people's word for tall people. And on his journey, Willow found a mercenary called Mad Mardigan, his old comrade Eric, the fairy queen Shurlindria, which gave Willow his signature wand that he uses, and then the old enchantress Finn Rizal, and then the little brownies that the Stu you were talking about, Fran, Jean, and Rule.
Yeah, Vinny and Squiggy. Vinny and Squiggy.
But yeah, during the concluding moments of the film, Bavmorda attempts to kill Elora Danan were thwarted by and banished by Willow, and Finn Rizal and Sorsha, who had defeated the heroes. Who had defeated her mother on defected to the hero's side to fight her own mother after falling in love with Mad Mardigan, who was played by Val Kilmer, who unfortunately cannot do the series because of his health issues, which really sucks, dude, because that was like...
It does, man. It does.
We
could use Mad Mardigan right now. We could use Mad Mardigan right now. Yeah,
need some Mad Mardigans.
I don't know, but maybe they'll figure something out for it. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we'll see, because maybe he's going to be in it, but... And then after that, so Tirasleen is the world, Tirasleen, and that's so after that, Tirasleen was restored in the movie, and then Willow was given a spell book by Finn Rizal, and Elora was left in Mad Mardigan and Sorsha's care. So now about the show, where these characters are, who the players are, and what the latest adventure is. We got 2 episodes. They dropped on us at once, like they'll sometimes do. They gave us 2. And in the first one, the opening narration, you get we had, in addition to the recap of the film, they give you a nice little montage of the events of the film. We're told after returning home, Willow had a vision of the rise of a dark power that will come back and destroy everything. And that's why his wand, as well as Elora Danan, was hidden away. That too, in a way, the real Elora Danan didn't know who she was. They didn't even tell her that she was Elora Danan, so no one knew who she was except the ones who knew who she was. But then we are introduced to Kit, which is the character from the original movie, Sorsha's daughter, and Jade, which is her best friend, special friend, and Knight in training, partaking in a sparring session. And after Jade clearly lets Kit win because she's the princess and she's about to leave her side and go be a knight with Commander Ballantyne, the duo proceeds to the castle because Kit is supposed to be married away to the Prince of Galadorn, who's played by the kid that played Flash in the...
Yes, I saw him in the poster. That's why I was initially interested.
Yeah, he's in it, and he's pretty funny. Son of King Haster Graydon, Kit's brother, and the Prince of Tirasleen, Eric. Yes, he's named after Mad Mardigan's deceased best friend, who is seen romancing the kitchen maid. Dove is called over to the castle by Case to get ready as well. The kitchen maid, you want to pay attention to. So Sorsha reprimands both Kit and Eric for prioritizing their hobbies over their responsibilities as they run away from her and avoid an argument, and she hears Willow's voice faintly warning her about the arrival of the Gales. During the dinner, Kit lets Jade and hence us, the audience, know apparently that there was 2 princes of Galadorn, but one of them fell out of a tree and died. So Kit has to marry the one that's alive, and clearly she's not interested in getting married. Though through Sorsha and King Haster's conversation, we get to know about the overall condition of the world as it is right now. And so we know that something called the barrier is being breached unsuccessfully by bone reavers. Even though Sorsha warns that there could be a new enemy on the rise because settlements in the north have been torched and abandoned, Haster insists that nothing can cross this barrier. So based on that assurance, Sorsha officially announces Kit and Graydon's marriage, and they're tasked to protect the realm until Elora Danan returns, because she's somewhere. Sorsha's trip to the dungeon gives us a peek at the imprisoned ex-squire of Mad Mardigan, Borman. And he's, I think, the coolest character in the show. The most well-written, most well-played, well-acted, for sure. And just the coolest one. And before returning to the party, which is falling apart because Kit is furious about getting married, and then and about Jade's departure to become a knight, her best friend's leaving, and so, of course, and then this leads to a falling out between Kit and Sorsha, which Eric tries to mitigate and kind of succeeds at. And that's also when we get a hint at the underlying animosity between Eric and Kit, which stems from the fact that Eric and his air of responsibility, this air of like not give a fuck that he has, due to which nobody expects anything from him, but so naturally Kit is forced to be more responsible, the one that has the burdens, and thereby burdening her with everything that the kingdom and the realm require, and robbing her of the opportunity to just basically lead a normal life. And that's why she decides to ditch the wedding, kiss Jade goodbye, and make a run for it. However, that plan is ruined by the Gales, which are 4 mysterious creatures, almost boundless. Maybe it's like there's smoke, but then they become solid, kind of changing their density kind of thing, dark powers, and they sort of descend upon Tierslene, infect Ballantyne, and kidnap Eric, the twin brother. So now we got to go, the following day, the show has its, Fellowship of the Ring moment, and Kit, Case, Jade, Graydon, Borman are all appointed to travel west, go beyond the barrier, and rescue Eric. Before that, though, they're tasked with meeting Willow so he can join the gang and chart a map to the Lost Prince's location, which before embarking on the mission, though, Kit has a conversation with Sorsha in which she learns about the Queen's plan to hide Elora so that the evil can't return, and how Willow encountered that idea by stating that Bavmorda's spirit lives in Eric, Kit, and Sorsha, because they're her blood, and hence her return is sort of inevitable because they're alive. And so my best guess is that the Gales' plan, or whoever that they're serving, is to extract Eric's blood and somehow recreate Bavmorda, or bring her back somehow, or make a clone of her, or reincarnate her. Anyway, during the rescue party's journey to the barrier, they find out that Dove, the kitchen wench, has been tailing them this whole time, right? She's sort of stowed away on the fellowship, but she's following them from a distance, and she's in love with Eric, that's why. So she wants to rescue him. So she's the kitchen wench, and she has a secret relationship with the prince, Eric, and so she wants to go save him. And so while like or dislike Dove, amidst the existential bickering, she asks the important question that we all want to know: what is the barrier? And as explained by Jade, it's a magical force field forged by Finn Razel and Shalandria to protect the realm. And apparently, when Jade's family approached the Mother's Gate, which is the entry point of the realm, her parents were killed, and she was the only one who made it through and was fathered by Ballantyne. Now, Borman and Case refute that claim that the barrier is supposed to protect the realm. As per Case, it's for Elora's protection only, and to keep away forces that are after her specifically. which furthers the notion that the Gales aren't after Allura because she isn't pivotal to Bavmorda's return. And Eric is, because he's got her blood. So near the barrier, we get 2 hints: potential villainous entity called the Worm, and the fact that Dove is actually Allura Dannon. So we find out that the kitchen wench this whole time is actually the baby from the movie Allura Dannon, all grown up. And because she walks right through the barrier, she can just walk through it. So the Bone Reavers kill Case and drive the rest of the rescue party over a ledge, and they fall down into some water, and they, they're not hurt. They just land in some water and walk away. And then, and of course the Bone Reavers can't follow for some reason. And so they make their way into the village of Nelwyn and meet Willow, who confirms that Dove is Allura by revealing the little mark. She has a birthmark on the inside of her arm from the movie that identified her as the prophecy, the chosen one. And they meet Willow, and they meet Silas, who was one of the Nelwyn warriors, one of the little people warriors. Willow is a little person. In real life, the actor is a little person who played Wicket, who played one of the Ewoks, the main Ewok in Star Wars. He was R2-D2. Did he play R2-D2?
No, that was a different guy. He was an Ewok. He played an Ewok.
He was Wicket. He was Wicket.
Yeah, he was Wicket.
Yeah, he's Wicket. So, and then he went on, and then so George Lucas is making Willow, and so of course they use Willow. So, but the whole village, this whole sort of race or type of being, like elves or dwarves, are little people. So they're not dwarves, they're not elves, they're actually little people called Nelwyns. Because you guys know, because dwarves in Lord of the Rings are not like human dwarves. They're different. They're much taller.
They're right.
They're stronger.
Right.
They're super strength.
They're just small, right? They're small, but they're kind of short. They're all born like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Stocky,
but they're also evenly proportioned.
Right. Fully evenly proportioned. Right. So now, she hints. So that's it. That's sort of the first episode. Now we get, like I said, we got 2 episodes. So in the second one, during a flashback sequence, we see a young Willow meeting her younger Sorsha. To discuss Allura's training, because she's only, the only thing standing between the realm and eternal oblivion. And Willow says that if she doesn't start practicing magic at a young age, it's going to fade away. Sorsha wants that to happen because she thinks that if she's not a threat, maybe the dark forces will stop their attacks. A foolish notion, of course, but she also hints at Mad Mardigan's whereabouts. So Mad Mardigan hasn't been. We don't he's not dead. He's just not here. So we don't really know. Right. I don't know if Val Kilmer's somehow going to play him, maybe with some sort of deep fake technology or something. Who knows? But as she says that he hasn't returned from his mission to find the Chimerian Curious and is presumed to be, dead. So they think, but we don't know yet. So Willow encounters that he's still alive. But whatever he brings back isn't going to be enough to stop the Crone, which is essentially the evil sect that Bavmorda served, or Bavmorda herself, I guess. Sorsha confirms that Razel and Shalandria are in fact dead, and this means that Willow is the only powerful sorcerer in the realm, the only magic user, the only wizard that's left. And Sorsha says that, that stuff like the process of elimination and Willow's goodness quotient isn't enough to make him powerful enough to protect Allura. And so in the present timeline, we see the gang grappling with the notion that Dove is actually Allura. And actually, I'll be referring to the kitchen wench as Allura because that's who she is, and for the sake of clarity. So we're not going to call her Dove. I'm going to call her Allura. And Willow takes the group into his village where we get to meet Mims, which was his daughter in the movie. And Willow spews some nonsense about Allura being the one and how That indicates that those worried about the realm can calm down now because she's going to master her magical abilities and defeat every and any source of darkness. But he quickly learns that that's not even remotely a possibility because, as predicted by him, the years of not practicing magic have robbed her of her ability to do anything that's borderline magical. Now, one of the Gales, the Lich, while referring to the teacher, says that the child has revealed herself, which is a reference to Allura. And that means that she is still integral to the villain's master plan. Now, when Sorsha learns about this, she allows the sick Valentine to travel across the realm with a small team and bring her back safely without revealing Allura's identity. The Crone says that Allura Danon still holds the ability to destroy her, which is why she shouldn't reach the city. We got to stop her. The Lich assures her that his disciple, i.e., the infected Valentine, is going to do the needful. Meanwhile, in the village of Nelwyn, Allura, Willow, and the rest have an argument over whether they should stay and perfect magic or head west to get Eric, because that's what they set out to do. Maybe Allura should stay and y'all should go. But Allura rejects Willow's proposal to stay because she thinks assisting the Fellowship and rescuing Eric are more important than her learning how to do magic and save the realm. But while, conversing with Mims about his dilemma of going versus staying, we see Willow's apocalyptic vision, which, it's like a, cool, one of the cooler scenes, like a battlefield scene, and he's like crawling, all these people laying dead and everything. The vision says that if anything happens to Allura, the world is going to burn. But she's dying in his vision. She's dead. And so Mims urged Willow to go with Allura on her expedition, teach her, the route to Eric's prison, protect her from every kind of harm, and then hand over his magic wand to her when the time is right. The first step of that process begins with finding Allura in the forest as she hides near a river by herself, contemplating what the hell she's doing. Willow says that he'll take the hapless lot to the immemorial city, which is where Eric possibly is, if Allura agrees to learn magic properly. Of course, Allura agrees to Willow's demands, and Willow joins the Fellowship on their journey, and blah, blah, blah. And this air of positivity is punctured by Valentine as he goes into evil beast mode and turns his entire platoon into mindless monsters that are doing the Lich's bidding. And then we return to the gang to hear Borman claim that Mad Mardigan apparently found the cuirass and is therefore sitting with it somewhere out there. And Allura begins her magic lessons, and they, go as well as, you can imagine. But Willow soldiers on, trying to make her grow a bush out of a echoberry seed. And even that seems to go, horribly wrong. And while Allura practices her spells, a remorseful Willow admits to Silas that he shouldn't have parted ways with Sorsha because she forbade him from teaching a young Allura about who she is. Silas tells him to rest up because, realistically speaking, thinking about the mistakes one has made in the past rarely fixes them. Instead, unnecessary overthinking makes people commit mistakes in the present. Now, the ending is interesting. So, who kidnaps Allura Danon? What's her future going to be? Valentine and his platoon get to the village, the Nelwyn village, and Mims, the daughter, tries not to give away the Fellowship's whereabouts. But since the platoon's instincts are still functional, they find out the general direction in which Allura and the rest have headed and march on. And then Willow and Allura have a big argument about her inability to perfect a simple spell that, can't make the plant grow. And then she disappears into the forest, just like she did earlier in the episode. And then Jade and Kit have an argument about leaving the pack and going on their own, over to the Shattering Seas and to the immemorial city to rescue Eric because Kit doesn't see the inkling of helpful magic happening there. Borman's arrival prompts Graydon to look for Allura while he pesters Silas about the dog-shaped toys he's making for Libby. Graydon does give Allura a pep talk, but leaves her alone. And while she's by herself, she's vulnerable, to an attack by Ballantyne, who basically busts her in the head and drags her off. And we do see that she has mastered the ability to grow the plant, because after he drags her off, we see the little sapling come up and it grows, and so we go, oh, okay, she's got her magical powers back. That'll come in handy. However, will that be enough to beat juiced up beast mode Ballantyne and his infected soldiers? We'll have to see. Episode 3. But in terms of what we can expect from the end of season 1 of Willow or the finale of the series, it is embedded in a conversation between Willow and Silas. The former, Silas, Willow rather, clearly admits that this whole saga is going to conclude with Allura's death. He knows it. That's just the only way it can end. And he says that he's tried, a lot of things to avoid that scenario and to ensure, that she survives. However, it is technically inevitable. If she doesn't master her powers, she's going to die, because there won't be anyone to assist him in stopping the crone, the Gales, or the worm, or whoever's behind every, evil thing that's going on. If Allura does master her powers, she's going to lead the fight, and going by Willow's vision, she's going to use every ounce of her strength to obliterate the villains. And, and the knowledge that, you're leading an evidently innocent person to her death, because that's what is written in her fate, is a heavy burden, for him to carry right now. And, if we learned anything from the fantasy genre, in scenarios like this, the characters' journeys become about defying fate and writing their own destiny. Since they are a little preoccupied right now with saving Eric, it's possible that they'll take a lot of time to come around to that, notion, but hopefully they will, and we'll get, a dope ending and stuff.
Hopefully it'll be faster than Rings of Power.
Yes. How many episodes does the season have?
Good question. I don't know. But I'll find out.
That may help with your fears too, of it turning out like Rings of Power.
It is
8 episodes.
8 episodes.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, maybe not.
6 more to go. Yeah, only 6 more.
6 to go.
Yeah, and if they're, if they match the pace, if they match the pace of these two, or even turn it up a little notch, it'll ride. But if they slow it down any, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, they slow it down. We done. I'm done. It's winter time. I don't watch nothing slow in the winter. I got the patience in the summer, even in the spring. But the winter, no. I need to be thoroughly entertained in the winter.
Yeah, but we got 1 and 2 today. Episode 3 will come out Wednesday, the 7th, next Wednesday at 8 a.m. General Greenwich Mean Time. But I don't know what that is, East Coast. But the episode release schedule is definitely every Wednesday. It's the 30th, the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, the 28th, the 4th of January, and the 11th of January. So this is going to go into January.
Yeah, 6 episodes. Yeah, that'll be a month and a half almost.
Yeah.
A little over a month and a half. It's 4 weeks in a month, so that's 4 episodes. That's a month.
Yeah,
and then 2 more episodes. Yeah. It'd be like a week. It'd be like a month. It'd be like a month and a half. Yeah. So that'll take us into January, but it can't slow down. Those are the months it can't slow down. Can't slow down in December and January. Gotta keep it moving. That's why they had the playoffs of football in December and January, because you got to speed this. It's wintertime. Nothing slow down there.
Yeah, well, it should be good. It should be cool. We'll see though. But it remains to be seen. But Disney is apparently making history with its new show, The Acolyte, which we'll see. Apparently, it's going to move the franchise into bold new territory, become the first of its kind for the streaming service.
Oh boy.
I don't know. Logan's Daphne Keene was revealed to be joining the cast, which features the Squid Game's Lee Jung Jae, the Matrix's Carrie Ann Moss, and a bunch of other people. But not a lot's known about the plot. The showrunner Leslie Headland previously teased that the show will build on why the Jedi Order acts the way it does in the Phantom Menace. So if you remember how they acted in the first first prequel, now Keene teased that the show is unlike anything that has been done before in Star Wars. Bold statement. Andor was certainly not like anything done before in Star Wars. But so was Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Definitely done like nothing before in Star Wars, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing at all. And with their sort of notorious philosophy of hiring writers that are not fans of Star Wars, and this show basically being the first one of that, we'll see. But Daphne Keene from Logan, gave some details about it, saying, 2024, that it's going to come out in 2024 during a press junket for the upcoming season of his Dark Materials, the Star Wars, who was it? I think it was the lead character in the show, was asked if there was anything that they could reveal about the show, which, of course, she joked that it is a prequel, but the actress was understandably reluctant to give too much away. But what she said was, no, I mean, as you know, it is set 100 years before the prequel movies, and it's kind of an explanation of how the Sith infiltrated the Jedi. It's a Sith-led story, which has never been done before. It's been really fun to film. The cast is amazing, and the director and crew are just lovely. The whole experience is wonderful, and I'm very excited for people to see it. Now, I just want to say, this show, The Acolyte, a Sith-centric show about an era before the prequels. Everything I fucking love about Star Wars right there. Legends, canon, early stuff, pre-prequel stuff, Sith stuff, and I know I'm gonna hate it. And it hurts. Because this show should be my favorite show of all time. It has all the ingredients, but I have zero faith. Not a smidge, not a micron, none. Just going by what we've gotten so far, going by things I've heard, going by the stuff I've seen, and just going by the fact that it's Disney, and we know that Disney has Disney-fied their stuff. When I heard that Disney was buying Star Wars and Marvel, of course, initially I was like, no, don't Disney-fy my favorite stuff. But then, like, people talk me into, and I came to think, like, no, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna just like Disney-fy the thing, because that's gonna change it. People aren't gonna want it. No one's gonna like that. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna be cool because Disney has evolved. They've grown. They're gonna give us some R-rated stuff. Disney, So I had faith, but they have completely Disney-fied it. They've completely made it their own thing. It's not Star Wars by George Lucas. It is Star Wars by Karen Kennedy. And, we've got guys like Dave Filoni and stuff coming in to try to save it. And all they can save is the projects that they specifically do themselves. They haven't really changed the vibe over there. So getting the old CEO Bob Iger back in, getting Kathleen Kennedy out will hopefully change this. But I'm not looking to see any of these big changes for the next 5 years. We'll start to see new projects, maybe by then. But and hopefully Bob Iger will make sure that nothing else that comes out is trash. Hopefully, Ahsoka is going to be the dope show that it should be, and Mandalorian season 3 should be as dope as it should be, and everything could be cool. So hopefully that'll all be good. And Andor season 2 and all that good stuff. So I do have faith in the future of Star Wars, but I don't have faith in this show, and that sucks because I really want this show. But the writer revealed that she knew the timeline really well. And she confirmed that the show would be told from the perspective of the antagonists, of the Sith, of the bad guys. And at this point, and that should be dope, right? That, oh, hell yeah, right? Like that's it. But I don't have faith in Disney's version of the Sith. Like, I just don't. And the timeline, 100 years before the prequels, that's High Republic. That's Disney Star Wars. That's the High Republic era. That's their. And I'm not sure if High Republic is 50 years before or the whole 100, or if maybe the first. Because I know during High Republic, there's no wars going on. There's no Sith. It's just the Jedi are just at the peak of protecting the guy. It's not good. But the writer said, I was coming at it as a fan who was much more into the RPG role-playing games that the extended universe feeds on. Now, that's another thing that really is building my hopes up, because I know you guys have heard me say it 1,000 times. My favorite part of Star Wars is the extended universe, the Legends novels, the games, Knights of the Old Republic. You know what I'm saying? That's the best part of Star Wars to me. So this writer is literally telling us, I'm coming at as a fan who was into the extended universe. So, and it's a Sith show. I mean, all this, but if that's the case, bro, why are you not doing an Old Republic era? You see what I'm saying? So that's why I really, and he said, he continued saying, I came hard at that in the 90s, talking about the extended universe. Then I got introduced into the animated series, The Clone Wars. I knew the timeline really well, and I was like, I think if you want to explore Star Wars from the perspective of the bad guys, the best time to do it is when the bad guys were wildly outnumbered, when they actually are essentially the underdogs, for lack of a better term. So this would be that era. And then I have to disagree with that. I think the best time to do a show about the bad guys is when the bad guys are in power. Or when Darth Bane is taking them from, thousands and thousands of a big population of power, wiping them out and just bringing them just down to 2 and starting the rule of 2. That's the best time to do that era. So the fact that this guy thinks that the best time to do this would be the High Republic era, that bothers me. That bothers me.
It does. But it remains to be seen. It might be good, Reno. You never know, man. It might shock us, man. We might walk away and be with our jaws on the floor.
I don't want to get my
jaw.
I know, but I don't want to get my hopes up like that, because this could, I just don't want to get my hopes up like that.
Let's just stay neutral until we see it, and then, because it could be the best thing we ever saw, or it could be the worst thing we ever saw, or one of the worst things. But I will say one thing about Willow one thing I like about Willow is that we got 45 and 55-minute episodes.
Yeah,
they gotta stop that with Star Wars. Yeah, they gotta stop that with Star Wars. Star Wars, you get 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes chopped up in the sections with commercials thrown in it. It don't make sense, bro. Like, you could tell a lot. If we got hour long, stuff could be much better. You got more. Look, man, hopefully, like they say, Kathleen Kennedy is out. Somebody else new comes in, takes over, shoots the franchise to the moon. Pun intended.
Yeah. Well, We'll see, man. Because and with the Acolyte, you know, it's still a lot of secrecy around the Acolyte. You know, the cast and the crew have done a great job at releasing the tiniest little nuggets of information over the course of its, you know, production period.
Right.
And furthermore, given the love now shown to the prequels, that, you know, because fans have really turned around and really learned to love the prequels, fans are bound to be excited to explore, you know, the events that tie closely into that time period. I mean, this is when the Sith infiltrates, and so this is especially after showrunner Leslie Headland revealed her own long-term love for the expanded universe, which is something that I love to hear. And you know, it definitely contradicts what I've heard about them hiring writers who are not fans of Star Wars, because that's not only is she a fan of Star Wars, she's a fan of the extended universe. Well, that's not
Man.
what I've been. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I wow, this better be the shit then. You know, which is something that will spark excitement. You know, that knowledge is gonna excite a lot of fans like me who love the Legends, Star Wars Legends timeline, and that's basically what this is supposed to be. So we'll see. Of course, the publishing initiative of the High Republic has been filling out the events in the galaxy, you know, far, far away prior to the Skywalker saga, and that is a horrible thing for the canon, in my opinion. But any on-screen content for this time period has been limited to very short YouTube videos, and I know fans are gonna want to see, you know, all of that brought to life. So maybe it'll please everybody, but you know, obviously nothing can. But certainly, if the Easter eggs in Andor, which referenced the prequel era, can generate, you know, all that excitement for us fans, the Acolyte is set to be a treat. You know, it should be good. We'll see. But in fact, you know, it seems perfect for prequel lovers or people that are, you know, interested in the fall of the Republic or the Jedi Order. You know, and the enthusiasm, you know, surrounding the show is shared by its cast and crew too. So that's a good sign. I mean, I like it. I like it. I like hearing that the cast and the crew and the writers and the people are big Star Wars fans. That's not what I've been hearing. So this is news to me, and it's good news. So we'll see. But the actress Daphne Keane and the showrunner Headland seem passionate about the project, and you know, it's an all-star, you know, cast that's pretty confirmed, and things are looking good for the show so far. And I just am scared. I'm scared to get my hopes up, man. I really am. But yeah, Daphne Keane is the girl that played X-23 in Logan. She was little Wolverine. So she's gonna be in the Acolyte, and that's cool. She was a good actress for her age. So that's promising. She I can't wait for Ahsoka's series and the Mandalorian to come back, but yeah, she's signed on. She's I don't know who she's playing, but she's wrapping up a deal right now to join the Acolyte. And
Listen,
so,
we don't secrecy. We want secrecy. So when it come out, we can be like, yo. Hopefully,
exactly. No leaks allowed.
Yeah,
no leaks allowed. You know, no leaks. We're going old school on this one. We don't know until it come out.
pre-internet style.
Yeah, when it come out, that's when we can say, I see why they kept it a secret. Let's hopefully, is it going to be a series or is it just like a show, like a one-shot deal?
Well, I mean, it's a Disney Plus series, so
so I guess it's gonna have multiple episodes. It's not like a special.
No, yeah, it'll have.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot they call them specials now. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so we know it ain't a special. We know it's a. Hopefully we get like 45-minute episodes. You know what I mean? Hour episodes, and they keep it moving.
I think the minimum should be an hour, like an hour with credits. So maybe like 50 minutes of actual content. Like,
yeah,
I agree with that side. Yeah, because you raised the price of Disney Plus, so we know you got money. We all paid for it. They took it on the chin, and we just asked for better content. If you want us to watch, you want us to stream it, give us better content. You purposely bought out Disney Plus to create new content moving forward and release it strictly on your own platform. That's a smart thing to do. But if you're not going to give us good content and raise the price on it, something got to give.
It's gonna be me.
If I'm putting Kathleen Kennedy's kids through college, she gotta give me some good content.
Yeah. Well. Saturday. Oh, Monday we are so Saturday is DC Power Hour. As you know. And then Monday, Cooks 24, y'all know Cooks is coming on, and him and I are gonna do like a Southern hip hop like celebration of the South, just talk Southern hip hop, talk about the South, the culture, the hip hop culture in the South, and a whole Southern Dirty South special.
Cooks.
Yeah. Cooks from Alabama.
We about to send out a search. We're gonna send out a search party for him and Curtis Blow.
Nah, you can find Cooks all the time on Instagram. He's always got his show popping, doing interviews and stuff. Cooks 24 podcast, and y'all can definitely check him out on Instagram. He's doing interviews, live interviews and stuff all the time. He's dope podcaster.
Yeah, it's good. It'd be good to see Cooks, man. Good to see him, man.
And one more thing, guys. This was the best part of the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about that. Yeah, the arm. Yeah.
I kept seeing that circulate on Instagram. I was like, okay, that must be the most memorable part of the special because it's the only thing I'm seeing.
It's just cool, man, because the way they did it and shit was just really cool.
I just want to know how she got
the
arm.
Last
time I checked, he had his arm, correct? Like.
Yeah.
Nah, he never got it, I don't think.
No, like that particular one, didn't he have it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
He had it, yeah. In Falcon and Winter, he had it, yeah. So I want to know how she got it too.
Well, the movie does a good job of setting up the Guardians Volume 3 and also reveals a good mystery about Peter and Mantis's real relationship, about that they're actually siblings in a way. Yeah, so
that wasn't really a shock. I thought they pretty much spelled that out in the second movie.
I agree. I didn't think that was a big reveal much.
Not me either, yeah.
It did leave fans with some questions, like how Nebula got Bucky's arm as a gift for Rocket. And in a recent tweet, James Gunn actually did explain exactly how Nebula got the Winter Soldier's mechanical arm. During the final battle in Avengers Endgame, we see Bucky and Rocket, teaming up to shoot Thanos' alien army. And given Rocket's obsession with prosthetic limbs, he asks Bucky, how much for that arm? Which Bucky does not reply and simply walks off. And Rocket swears, I'll get that arm. And the gag was finally paid off in the holiday special, as towards the end we see Guardians exchanging gifts. Nebula presents the arm to Rocket, and I was just like, hell yeah, bro. And fans were definitely left speechless and scratching their heads as to how the hell. And when a fan asked Gunn about how, that happened on Twitter, he said, she took a trip to Earth and tore it off his body because she was feeling so Christmassy.
Okay, we're going to have to visually see that play out. Because I'm going to have to see that visually play out because Bucky's not going like that. So I just feel like if we see an extended fight scene, that would be good. That would be good.
But
unless you just had a duplicate.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm sure he's kidding. But fans have speculated that it may not even be the same arm Bucky had in Endgame, or that Bucky had changed the arm, as seen in the new Thunderbolts poster. And so maybe he took it off and then she snagged it, and some even assumed that Nebula made it herself. But when another fan further termed Gunn's explanation as forced inclusion, the director simply shut it down by saying, "I'm not sure how a cyborg with advanced alien technology tearing off a human's arm because of an overabundance of Christmas spirit is forced inclusion, but now it's canon. Sorry."
I don't understand how they even got to that point. I'm not really.
Because
I don't
today's
understand.
society, you got to explain everything to everybody. Me, I
Yeah,
didn't care. I just thought it
he
was
didn't really
hilarious
need
that he
to
had it.
respond to that. That was really
Yeah, I just thought
stupid.
I just thought it was hilarious that he had it. I didn't think we needed an explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
All I
one
can
of the
say,
great mysteries. Don't even explain
don't
it
even
because it's just
ask,
going to
right?
create more
So yeah,
questions.
so
Like, you know.
yeah, everybody out there in streaming land, use your imagination. That's all I can say.
Imaginations
Just use
are
your imagination.
priceless.
You want to know how Bucky get? You want to know how she got the arm? Use your imagination.
Yeah.
Whatever you come up with is fine with us.
I mean,
But
to keep it a buck, given Nebula's, familiarity with Earth and various Avengers and her, it's definitely in her nature to tear off an arm and present it to her friend, But, I wonder how, but Bucky, obviously, like you said, Winter Soldier ain't having that. But
she ain't just tearing no arm off of Winter
Oh
Soldier.
no.
that's
Unless he had a
right.
duplicate, there's no way.
Maybe he
Yeah.
had right. Maybe he had a duplicate laying
Maybe.
around. She just
That's
spiked
what
it.
I think.
Because that looks
Yeah,
like the arm that came from Wakanda. So I mean, I
Right.
don't know. Like, would they make a duplicate? I don't know. Probably. I don't.
Yeah.
It's a lot to question, but
Looks like it's iridescent.
That's the vibranium arm he had.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people were saying she made that. That's just not true.
Yeah.
She could have 3D printed it. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe she
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
All I
would
know is
accept
the special. Yeah, the Christmas special was good. It wasn't.
It was funny.
good. It was funny.
Good. It's fun. Yeah.
Like when Kevin Bacon called him a raccoon and they jumped and they grabbed Rocket. They were like, "Oh wait!" He said, "Oh, I kill him." He said, "Talking raccoon." He's like, "Oh, I kill him."
I didn't get the part about the GoBot. I mean, because Drax immediately assaults the GoBot when he sees it, and then Mantis is like,
Because remember, she said
a GoBot killed his cousin.
Killed his family. A robot killed his family
What?
or his cousin or something like that.
She said a GoBot. She said a GoBot killed his cousin.
Maybe GoBot's a canon now in Disney universe.
Wait. She said a GoBot killed his family.
She said a GoBot. Yeah, she said GoBot. Yeah.
So they just erased the fact that Thanos killed his family. Is that not what happened initially? And that's why
she said his cousin.
Cousin.
Yeah.
Oh,
but still, it raises the question: do GoBots exist in the MCU?
I guess so.
They must do. And I don't know. I know Transformers are in comics, and there's Marvel Transformers. I wonder if Marvel did GoBots. Let's see. Marvel GoBots. Yeah. What are GoBots? How Marvel canonized Transformers in G2. James Gunn confirms that GoBots are canon in the MCU. Wow.
Lovely.
But to be honest, Marvel Cinematic Universe Wiki says GoBots, it's got GoBots are a race of extraterrestrial transforming robots. History, rip your head off. Drax, stop being a bigot. Wait, where's that part about that thing? Wait, get away. All right, now I can't. So okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I know GoBots had to stop being made because they got sued by Transformers or something like that. That's why we never got like more seasons of the GoBots cartoon. And then they came out the movie and they used those transforming rocks, the people that transformed into rocks, the robots. So it was like a big thing with them. They fell off because
I see why Transformers sued them. I'm looking at the GoBots now.
Oh yeah, it's a blatant ripoff. But Psykill was one of their the motorcycle guy. Psykill was one of the
was the leader of the evil GoBots,
bad guys. And at one point, a group of GoBots killed a cousin of Drax. And when Drax saw a Psykill cosplayer while visiting Earth, he attempted to kill him. though Mantis prevented him from doing it, explained that the situation to the cosplayer later. While Mantis was distracted taking a photo, Drax began attacking the cosplayer again, and we saw him beating him down. But GoBots is a toy line and media franchise created by Tonka that centers around humanoid robots that can transform into vehicles, which is obviously a Transformers ripoff. But actually, no, I think wait, did GoBots come out before Transformers?
They say it, but they did a court battle and Transformers won that. Transformers won it somehow. I know they debuted. This is what it is. They debuted on TV. They debuted on TV first, but you got to remember we had Transformers in Japan, and before we had them over here.
Did?
Yeah, it's always been Transformers.
I thought it was Hasbro. I thought Hasbro created Transformers.
Yeah, but they were in Japan. They came over. They bought them over. They changed. Like there was a lot of stuff they changed, and then they bought them over. And then GoBots. I always thought that GoBots was like a knockoff of Transformers when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, it says
I still liked them.
It said GoBots. Yeah, it said GoBots made its U.S. premiere in 1983, a full year before the original Transformers toy line's debut. It had a similar origin, being mostly made up of pre-existing Japanese toys used under license by an American distributor. In this case, the Machine Robo series by Bandai spinoff. And so, yeah, it was a Robo series by Bandai, and American whatever, I guess Hasbro repurposed the Japanese toy.
Yeah, it was something like that. I know they went to court over it. They had a big court battle over it. Yeah, it was a big court battle.
It says, Autobots versus Decepticons wasn't the only war between shapeshifting Robo in the 80s. Bigger. GoBots was Transformers' main competitor, at least in the realm of robot based toy lines. Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. It is overall not looked upon very favorably by the fandom at large, which most of the criticisms leveled at the way it was marketed, with goofy character names and a less sophisticated cartoon. And it's not like the original Transformers cartoon was exactly highbrow entertainment, but that GoBots ran for barely 3 years, as opposed to the 7 of Transformers, only further reinforces the idea that Transformers was the powerhouse winner between the two. The series does have its fans and collectors, however. Hasbro also now owns the GoBots IP, thanks to its acquisition of Tonka in the early 1990s. But the relationship between Hasbro and GoBots is complicated. And yeah, it says, okay.
Yeah, because I know Hasbro obtained the GoBots trademark, but they can't put them out because there's still controversy with the whole thing. I guess it's a licensing deal to renew the license. Sort of like when Nintendo owned Rare, and Rare worked for them, and then they bought out Killer Instinct, but then Microsoft bought Rare and acquired all of their workings with it. But when you see
Marvel
Killer
Comics,
Instinct, it says Nintendo. It says Nintendo. So it was a Nintendo acquisition, and then it's just a licensing deal, really, that I don't think they can renew at any time soon.
And this right here is a Marvel. This is a printed.
That's a Marvel comic. Yeah.
This was printed in an issue of the Marvel Transformers comic.
Oh.
Yeah. Proving the old adage that if you can't beat them, subvert their publications to your own ends. The GoBots made its premiere in 1983, nearly a full year before original Transformers debut. It has similar origin, being mostly made of pre-existing Japanese toys used under a license by an American distributor, in this case, the Machine Robo series by Bandai spin-off company Poppy. The bulk of these figures are roughly the size and retail price of a Transformers mini vehicle, though often more complex and with a much broader variety of alternate modes. The line was also filled out with some larger original molds, including spaceship bases, cap guns, and several designs originally intended for Machine Robo, which did not actually see release in that series. Similarly to how the Transformers Scramble City combiners were not yet implemented, Diaclone designs. The cartoon Challenge of the GoBots was produced in the United States by Hanna-Barbera. aired in some markets outside the U.S., like Australia, with the title change of The Machine Men. 65 episodes, 1984 to 1985, followed by a feature film battle of the Rock Lords in 86. Rushed to theaters to beat the Transformers the movie to screens. They were literally trying to compete. As a kid, it was no competition. GoBots, we thought they were just like generic Transformers to us.
Yeah, they were very generic.
We just
They
thought
were
of them
very generic
bootleg
Transformers.
Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
super
like I
generic.
said, GoBots might have came out on TV a year before Transformers, but we were playing with the toys before that. We had the toys. Just didn't have a
it's
TV show.
Despite being first to the market, having many more low-priced items than its competitor, theoretically making them more desirable, at least to parents' wallets, and a ton of early press coverage stating that it would likely be the victor in the battle of shape-shifting robot toys, GoBots was left in the dust by the vastly better marketed Transformers. Hasbro also made darn sure to buy every Japanese transforming toy they could, so GoBots couldn't bloody have them. The line struggled its way to 1986 with a spin-off toy line called the Rock Lords. I remember those.
I remember those.
Rocks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Remember I just said that. Yeah. Remember they had the movie.
Rocks.
The one
Oh my God.
Magmar and all that. They were all named after. Yeah.
They didn't have
The
it.
leader. No,
They
no
were,
lie.
yeah.
The leader was called Magmar or something like that. Like it was. They did a movie. They did a whole movie
Fucking
where
rock.
they literally transformed into rocks. Like, like it
They
wasn't
didn't have
like
a
they did
chance.
anything.
Poor
I'm lying. They
things.
literally just transformed into straight rocks.
Damn.
Oh, how entertaining.
Nah. Why the hell we started talking about GoBots? I forgot.
It was in
James
the
Gunn
Guardians
holiday
thing?
special.
Guardians.
Holiday special.
That's right.
Guardian
Okay,
Galaxy. Guardian Galaxy.
right.
Holiday special. Rocks.
So they killed
GoBots.
Drax's cousin. Yeah. That's
Okay.
crazy.
That's
So
odd.
are they? Yeah, and does this mean that we'll see like the GoBots in some weird like multiverse?
Oh God,
you
I
know,
hope not.
You know, like flipping through the multiverse channels with Kang or something.
I doubt it. I don't even think they.
See,
It was probably a throwaway joke. I can't.
I
see
do.
it.
Well, I do know they tried to bring out in 2018. I did hear that they were trying to bring out a new GoBot series, but I don't. It's 2022 now, so I don't know.
That might be dead in the water.
Well, we also know James Gunn is everything 80s. If he can throw it in there and it's from the 80s, he won't do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that. I was pleased with it. I didn't have to ask a lot of questions about it because I know what GoBots are.
I mean, it could probably
for
come
me-
back up in the third movie, like the third Guardians movie.
Yeah.
But like
For
the
me,
greater
for them to
universe,
say that-
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, for them to say that his cousin was killed by a GoBot, that's dope to me.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I just leave it at that.
Yeah, and Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, makes an appearance as well. Well, part of an appearance. There's a lot of Easter eggs. So like you had the usual smattering of references, to the MCU at large, but as it turns out, a number of Marvel heroes do show up in the special. Only instead of the Avengers themselves, it's Hollywood's street performers dressed up like the heroes and taking pictures with fans in front of the Grauman's Chinese Theater in LA, which that's where Drax and Mantis come across the GoBot. And then there's performers cosplaying as Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and Black Widow and Captain America, and Mantis like thinks it's Steve Rogers and she runs up. She's like, Steve!
Steve!
That was probably the
jumps on
easiest thing for them to film. They're like, all right, let's just go to the public.
Right.
You guys run around real quick. We'll get it on film. Done.
There you go. Yeah. No actors to pay, and yeah.
Oh
easy.
yeah, no. Nobody's getting paid. This is just found footage.
Yeah. And then one non-Marvel Disney character, Jack Sparrow, turns up in the scene as well. And then there's even a man dressed as a GoBot, which we talked about. And then additionally, like I said, Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, sort of appears. And then the Guardian, when the Guardians are exchanging gifts, and we see his arm, and then an item the notorious Tinkerer has been yearning for for the since the two fought side by side in Avengers Infinity War. Meanwhile, if you look closely at the Christmas presents that young Peter hopes to pass out during the special's animated little sections, you'll see a gift intended for Taserface right there from one of the
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And there's while most of the characters from Marvel's Eternals are still currently off the grid, you can spot a poster outside of the bar Mantis and Drax visit, advertising
Yeah,
the
the one
special
dude. Yeah, one.
from
Yeah, the
Kingo.
one
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kamali Najani's Bollywood, the Bollywood star. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff. And there's some DC stuff too. Shout outs, little DC shout outs. James Gunn, who's now, on both Marvel and DC, is tucked in a few shout outs to actors that he's worked with, like Flula Borg, who played Javelin in the Suicide Squad. Actually makes a brief appearance as a bartender. And if you look closely at the map to the stars that the Mantis and Drax used to find Kevin Bacon, you'll see a spot of photos of a fellow Suicide Squad actor John Cena and Margot Robbie. In addition, you have Batman and Bruce Wayne get name dropped when Kevin Bacon is pretending like he's a hero. Because when they find out that Kevin Bacon's just an actor, Mantis mind controls him and says, you have to really, pretend you're a hero. And so first he's like, I'm a British World War II guy. And then he's like, I'm Batman, I'm Bruce Wayne. That was funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
They threw that in there. Yeah, but yeah, so Batman and Superman both canonically exist in the MCU as fictional characters, at least. But they've both been mentioned. Yeah, and Kevin Bacon and shit.
I thought it was dope. Either way.
Good stuff. Good shit. But yeah, guys, so that's our joint. So we'll see you guys Saturday, man.
All right, we'll be here.
We'll be there back Saturday, and don't forget to come Monday, guys, for the Dirty South celebration.
Listen, I'm gonna sit back. Yeah, that's yeah. You want Cooks it real hard on that Dirty South.
Yeah, we're gonna go hard on that. So, all right, y'all.
Very educational.
It will be, and fun. Peace out. Salute.
Peace.